And good afternoon, everybody. Well, actually, I guess it's mornings for some of us, but thanks for taking the time to hop in here today to this quick review of Pre-Built PROtrade and the new release that was sent out. And just for clarity there, that's release 4.4.3.1266, or perhaps a later one if you're watching this after the fact. And also just a reminder that as you go through the webinar here, there's in your webinar controls, you have the chat functionality should be available to you. And so you can use that to ask questions as we go along the way. If there's any questions there that we can either answer during the webinar or we can follow up with you after the fact. I'm just typing something right now into that chat message. So in case you see that pop up, you can see where that's at. But I think that's all. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move forward. Not a long list to go through here, but a few different features that are available. So the first set of features relates to keyboard drawing capabilities. So I'm going to come over here to this foundation plan area. And so if you want to be able to actually draw out your takeoff items using the keyboard, you have that capability. I'm going to come here to the area tool, and let's just say that I wanted to trace in this area of this floor area, maybe collecting floor coverings, or what a square footage for the home or whatever. But I can come here and I'm going to start at this corner of where the house actually, the living area space is. And instead of clicking around at the points, if I wanted to be a little bit more precise and follow what the plan dimensions say, I can now, once I've started the operation, I can hit the up arrow on my keyboard. And that's going to pull up this little dialog window. And from here, I can specify two things. The direction of travel is set to 90 degrees, so it's following whatever it is that my arrow key on the keyboard, but I can also make an adjustment there if I want. We'll see more about that in a moment. And then the distance, by default it fills in with 10, but of course you can immediately type whatever you want right over the top of that. So in this case, I'll type 30, since that's the distance that I want to travel, 30 feet. And then I'll just be able to hit enter on the keyboard. And that's going to take me to the next point. And so then it's also going to shift the screen there so I can kind of continue to follow along. So I'll hit the right arrow key again, go over 17 feet 2, according to what the plan says, come up 2 feet, over 5, down 2, over 4-6, up 9 feet, and over 12, down 9. And so you get the idea. You can just easily navigate around, and I'll go down to 30 feet. And so that brings me kind of full circle. And so I could finish there. So if you're looking to be able to draw out dimensions, so that would be true for your area tool as well as for your segment lines, your linear lines, any of those things, you could use that keyboard drawing capability. And then also, as I mentioned before, about direction. So let's say that I wanted to go to the right. I've started that linear line. I wanted to go to the right 10 feet. And then let's say that I wanted to come back down this direction at a 45 degree angle, or maybe up 2 or 3 feet or something. So I'm going to, again, hit the right arrow, and maybe I just wanted to travel 2 feet. But in this case, I'm going to change the direction of travel to 45. And so then it will travel in that direction, that 45 degree angle. So you can adjust both the distance as well as the direction of travel that you're going. So that's for keyboard drawing. Another way that you might want to use keyboard drawing is if you're more just trying to scope out an area that you don't necessarily even have a set of plans for. And here's a quick reminder that you can add a blank page to a project. So if you come to the pages window up here, come to the add pages button, and you hold your mouse over it, you'll notice that it has in the tooltip, it says right click for blank pages. So if I right click here, I can choose to add a blank page, and I can pick a page size. 24 by 36 is fine. Click OK, and it's going to add that blank page in here. To make that maybe even a little bit more useful to you, you can also right-click on this and choose Add a Grid to this page. And here's the grid down here in the markup items. You can always toggle it on and off, and you can change, how tight that grid pattern is: 6 inches, 1 foot, 2 feet, so on. But here on this blank page, then I could use that same idea for drawing the area. So I can come here, click on maybe a corner to start it, and then I could say, okay, I want to hit the up arrow and go 10 feet up, sure, and then over 5, up another 6 feet, over 20 feet, and down 16 feet. And so now I've got my little box here that I've drawn in. So I'm able to draw in a very specific area and could continue on with that concept with the takeoff work that I might want to do. So there's one method there for using keyboard drawing. Another thing that you can also adjust, I'm going to come back over here to the foundation plan, would be you can adjust using the keyboard functionality to adjust members. And so instead of just initially drawing them in, you can also adjust them using the green nodes. So the way you would get a green node is click on the takeoff item, and you have all of the corner nodes and things show up, whether that's a segment line or something else. But I can then hold down my control key on the keyboard and click on the green node there to turn it green, and then click over here. And so let's say that I wanted to slide this or adjust this whole section out further. So since I've identified those as my selected nodes by turning them green, I'm then going to hold down the control key on my keyboard and hit the up arrow at the same time. So if you're not in drawing mode, you'll have to add that additional control key designator. So I'll hit the control key, hit the up arrow, and then I can define, hey, I want to travel up 2 feet, for example. So I'll change this to 2 and hit OK. And so that's going to adjust those nodes in the direction that I specified. So, and again, that that would be true for a segment line. So if I drew in a segment line here and I selected it, grabbed both of those green nodes, and I just wanted to shift the whole thing down 2 feet, then I could hit that and it's going to shift everything down 2 feet. So keyboard drawing and keyboard dragging would be things that are both available in this latest release. One other thing I wanted to note about in this latest release, coming over here to the main floor plan, is the ability to just get a quick summary of square footages that may be on a particular page or in the entire project. The way that you can do that is there's a hotkey or there's a shortcut key to bring up that information. So if you hit Control-Alt-R, and I'm going to show you that in a moment, but I'm going to go to a specific page here. I've got several different square footages that have been listed out, some for my wood, carpet, tile, but if I just wanted to know, hey, how much square footage did I collect in all? Control-Alt-R is going to bring up just a little report window. It looks like this, and it's going to tell you, hey, the total area for that is 1,526 square feet. So it's basically taking all the square footage that's on that particular page. You can see it says main floor plan square foot information. So that's coming from the name of the page that you're on right there. On the other hand, if you wanted to get all the square footage for the project, so we've drawn in square footage over here, we've drawn in square footage on the main floor, I have some square footage on the roof. So if you just wanted to get a quick summary of, hey, how much square footage have I done throughout all of my pages, no matter where it is, then you could do Control-Alt-S, and that's going to give you the plan square foot information. So instead of it having that page name at the front, instead it's just saying plan in general. So in this case, I have 6,458 square feet that I've drawn in places. It's worth noting that these areas are not pitch adjusted. It's more just allowing you to see what it is that you have drawn on a two-dimensional level or two-dimensional plane. So then if you're interested in where those keyboard shortcuts are at, if you come up to the help menu, or sorry, to the file menu into settings, and then you come to the hotkeys area, here you can see the different hotkeys that may be available to you And so one of those new ones that I was just showing you down here, show page square footage info. That's for the page, Control-Alt-R, and then for the plan as a whole is Control-S. And of course, you can adjust those to different hotkeys that might be more useful to you or easy for you to apply. So all these are available to you to make use of, as well as adjust and customize to your specific settings. As a final note, I'll mention here that we are continuing to improve trade. We're looking for more ways that it's going to make the software useful to you, to our users. So as you have thoughts and feedback on how that could be useful to you, or whether it's improving existing features or it's adding on new features that aren't necessarily there yet, we would love to hear that. You can always send that either to the support email address, or there's also a feedback at prebuiltml.com. And I just typed that into the chat field for some of you if you want to reference that. So feel free to send us an email and give us some information about how the PROtrade software could be more useful to you. So thanks again for joining us today for this webinar, and we're looking forward to getting more expanded releases out to you in the coming days. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.